If you're looking for a new factory edition motocrosser, you're likely considering the KTM 250 or the Husqvarna FC 250 models. And you might be thinking, aren't these just the same bikes in different colors? And kind of, but not really. While these bikes are probably the most similar that they've ever been, there are still a lot of things that differentiate the two, even though they are both owned by the KTM group over in Austria. Stick around and we are going to break down the differences between the KTM 250 SXF Factory Edition and the Husqvarna FC 250 Factory Edition. Now, the idea of the Factory Edition model has come a long way since it was introduced originally back in 2012. The first Factory Edition was a KTM 450 SXF dubbed the Dungey Replica, and it was basically a scheme from the KTM group that would allow Ryan Dungey to compete on next year's model during that racing season. KTM exploited a loophole from the AMA rulebook and only made about 400 units to comply with the series homologation rule. The project was obviously a huge success, and since then, KTM and other brands have continued releasing factory edition models. Shortly after being released, these bikes became known as the 0.5 models, where KTM would essentially release the upcoming model year and give buyers access to next year's technology about 6 months earlier rather than waiting for the full release of the new models. This included introductions of new frames, new engines, new body styles, a short-lived bar pad phone app, limited edition Red Bull graphics, and more. In the past few years, though, the FE has become more of an upgraded package over the standard model instead of being a preview of next year's bike. KTM offers their factory edition motocrosser in the 250 and 450cc designations, along with the 350 XCF off-road racer, and Husqvarna also is available in either the FC250 or FC450 motocross models only. The Gas brand also sold an upgraded model under the MC250F and MC450F factory editions, but both models were discontinued for 2026 along with the closure of the Gas factory racing effort. In the past few years too, there's also been a lot of news online about the financial struggles of KTM, along with new investments from brands like Bajaj, but buyers can rest assured that both of these factory edition models are made in the Austrian headquarters along with the rest of the motocross models. For today's video, we're just going to be focusing on the two different 250cc versions and starting with the KTM 250 SXF Factory Edition. At an MSRP of $12,599, the KTM comes in at about $1,900 more than the standard 250 SXF. No doubt this is one of the most expensive motocross bikes on the market, but when you break down everything that comes on with this bike, it would total up to be more than that $1,900 price increase. For starters, you get a ribbed seat cover, CNC'd orange triple clamps, DID Dirt Star rims with orange hubs, an Akrapovic slip-on muffler, a Hinson clutch cover, a carbon fiber skid plate and front disc guard, a WP hole shot device, and all wrapped up in a full Red Bull KTM factory team graphics kit. Now, just on paper right there, I'm totaling up about $2,800 of upgrades, and that's if you include $600 for the triple clamps, around $1,000 for the wheels, around $900 for the slip-on exhaust, and about $200 for the graphics. The big ticket for 2026 though is the suspension, as the KTM comes with the full WP Exact Pro 7548 cone valve fork and an Exact Pro 8950 rear shock. This is not the standard air fork that comes on the regular SXF models, and it's essentially the full A-kit level stuff from WP. You might hear it referred to as the cone valve fork and the track shock, and that is what comes standard on the two factory edition models. The fork is a closed cartridge spring fork instead of the standard air, and the shock has more adjustments along with an oil bypass valve that opens and closes based on contact with the ground. Now, if you were to buy this stuff on its own in the WP Pro Components catalog, you're looking at about $6,000 price tag, $3,500 for the forks and about $2,500 for the shock. Now, if you just take those two upgrades on their own, that is far and away way more than the $1,900 price hike that you get for buying the factory edition model. The KTM also comes standard with the connectivity unit off-road, or the CUO GPS tracker, which is mounted up here on the front fender. When paired with the KTM phone app, you get an in-depth look at the bike's data, which includes lap times, shift points, RPMs, jump distances, and more. Think of it like Strava meets Lit Pro. You can also fine-tune the bike's internal settings like engine braking and mapping, along with tracking maintenance intervals and setup notes. But subscribing to this app does cost around $69 per year for the annual membership. Okay, now in the other corner, we have the 2026 Husqvarna FC250 Factory Edition. This bike comes in at an MSRP of $12,699, making it $100 more than the KTM and right around $2,000 more than a standard FC250. On the Husqvarna, you are going to get Rockstar Energy graphics, a gripper seat cover from Guts Racing, a white powder coated frame instead of the standard navy blue one that comes on the regular FC250, Pro Taper handlebars with ODI lock-on grips, factory triple clamps, Dunlop tires, a hole shot device, blacked out XL wheels, a Recluse clutch cover, carbon fiber guards, and an FMF factory 4.1 titanium exhaust, fully equipped with the carbon tip. For 2026, Husqvarna also spec'd out their factory edition with the WP Pro components, both front and rear, including the same Exact Pro 7548 cone valve fork and the Exact Pro 8950 rear shock. The same stuff that we mentioned back on the KTM. One thing I forgot to mention on the rear shock is the factory WP preload adjuster, which means you can set sag and adjust the actual shock preload with just an 8mm T-handle. Makes it so easy, and I honestly wish every bike came with one of these. The big difference here in the suspension is that the Husqvarna actually has 0.3 inches less rear travel, which in turn lowers the bike 0.3 inches lower to the ground. The seat height is also affected by this change and makes the Husqvarna have a seat height of about 0.5 inches lower than the KTM. Like the KTM, the Husqvarna also comes standard with the same connectivity unit, 2 maps, standard and aggressive, traction control, and a quick shifter. Now, regardless of which bike you pick, the KTM, the Husqvarna, or even something different, our friends at ASV Inventions have you covered when it comes to aftermarket levers. ASV's line of unbreakable levers have been around for more than 25 years, and we're the first to offer the folding design that doesn't break in a crash. Whether you want a CNC'd lever, a forged design, or simply a stock replacement, their lineup of levers are the same ones trusted by professional teams throughout the pits. My personal favorites are the F4 shorty levers, and I love these for their shortened length, and I like to use the dial adjuster to perfectly fit the lever to my liking. These levers are backed with a warranty, and like they say, if you want a guarantee, go see ASV. Thank you to those guys for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back into it. Okay, so now that you know about each bike, let's get into the main differences between the two. Price-wise, the Husqvarna is $100 more than the KTM, but this is kind of expected since that's what it is on the standard bikes. Exhaust upgrades come just on the muffler alone. You get the Acro exhaust on the KTM or the FMF on the Husky. You get DID wheels on the KTM versus Excel wheels on the Husqvarna. You get a Hinson clutch cover on the KTM versus a Recluse cover on the Husqvarna. You're also going to get the opened airbox on the KTM versus more the sealed off version on the Husky. The KTM also comes in 0.9 pounds lighter than the Husqvarna at 231.48 pounds versus the Husqvarna at 232.36 pounds. With the suspension change, you're also going to get 0.3 inches more travel on the rear for the KTM at 11.8 inches versus 11.5 inches. This also means that the KTM is going to have a taller seat height when you compare the two at 37.7 inches for the KTM and 37.2 inches for the Husqvarna. So you can definitely see there are still some differences on the spec sheet, but what's it like when you're actually riding these two bikes? Both engines are nearly identical and they offer a ton of mid to top end power. That's definitely a strong suit of the Austrian engines as they pull much farther than you'd expect and carry gears better than even most of the Japanese models. The green map or the aggressive map, which is the lower button on the handlebar switch, improves torque feel and gives the bike more bottom end pull, especially in the slow speed roll-on sections when compared to the standard map. The aggressive map is almost always our go-to when it comes to a 250 motocross bike. I did feel like the KTM revs up a bit quicker than the Husqvarna, but this could be credited to the opened up airbox, and we also ended up running the vented side cover for the KTM, and we did not have that option on the Husqvarna. Also worth noting that for this model year, neither of the engines are changed and they're the same as they've been in the last couple years. Suspension on both of these bikes is really what I noticed most, especially when comparing them to the standard versions. The rear end on both bikes felt glued to the ground, and I was honestly surprised at how much grip I could get away with in areas that I felt like other bikes would slide out. I like the cone valve forks because I like a lot of front end feel, and I think this setup offers a better feeling on the front wheel over the stock air forks, which can be a bit vague and require more babysitting with the air pressure. Both bikes excel in hard pack conditions and give you confidence to make a move or a decisive turn, even when a rut or a berm really isn't an option. At 6'1", I personally enjoyed the KTM over the Husqvarna. The lowered seat height, while only being half an inch, does make a difference, and along with the Pro Taper bar bend, I just felt like this bike felt so much smaller than the KTM did. It's easy to move around on, and like I said earlier, it can make lines in flat corners that other bikes simply just can't do. However, that lowered stance just didn't feel as comfortable to me, especially when going back to back on each bike, and with my kind of taller frame, I felt like the bike was a bit choppered out at times. My personal preference had me choosing the KTM over the Husqvarna almost every time. So while these bikes do look similar on a spec sheet, hopefully this video gives you some insight as to just how different these two bikes are. The factory edition models offer a kind of bundle deal where if you buy it now, you actually get it for a better price. The exhaust, wheels, clamps, and of course the suspension upgrades make it obvious obvious in terms of overall costs. The only reason I'd see a factory edition not really being a deal is if you have personal sponsors like Pro Circuit for exhaust, or a specific bar bend that you have to run, or something like that that keeps you from running the standard parts that come on the factory edition. In my mind, all you have to do is slap your own numbers on this bike, set your sag, and you'd be off to the races. Hey guys, hope you liked today's video. If you do, be sure to drop a like, follow, and subscribe, and always check out the Cycle News magazine where we have more comparison tests like this. You'll find a whole lot of racing news as well as industry updates, all for free at cyclenews.com, along with our digital magazine, which is produced every Monday night for free at cyclenews.com. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys out there.